Canada is the 8th race of the 2005 season, and so the upgrades were kicking in. When Friday was all said and done, there were some big changes in the order. Renault are dominant, having locked out all the practice sessions and continuing to improve their car. They've taken a massive leap forward, continuing their resurgence, and are the team to beat this weekend, surpassing even McLaren, who looked mighty fine all season. Speaking of McLaren, they seem to be on a downward spiral as they've lost pace to Renault and the much improved BARs. At the same time, Williams are snapping at their heels with Ferrari and Toyota also not too far behind, and because of this, rumours are circulating that McLaren will bring a substantial amount of upgrades soon. So those are the main talking points of practice, so let's jump into qualifying to see how the grid will line up for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yo, what's going on guys, it's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 8 of Schumacher Returns, and we are here for the Canadian Grand Prix. And as you can see, we are here for qualifying as per usual, just coming out the hairpin at Canada and preparing for our one and only qualifying lap time. And right now, as you can see, Fisichella's actually put his car on pole for the first time this season, so the Renault's really showing the pace here this weekend, and they really look quite fast all weekend long. And then Raikkonen all the way down P14 there if you look on the left hand side of the screen. But here we go then through the final chicane, and we're going to gear up to the one and only qualifying lap. Like I said, as we come out the final corner now, revving the engine up, turn the engine up to the full beans to give it maximum power as we make our way into the first corner. Turns 1 and 2, a very tricky sort of chicane section in third gear, quickly down to second for turn number 2, keeping it nice and tight on the apex, and then waiting to find your traction on the exit as we now go towards turn number 3 and 4, which are right left chicane, and you're going to get down to third gear for here. Make sure you stay off the curbs and don't use them too much, as the back end can step out on you as we go through turn number 5 now. Almost flat, it's a little bit slippery on this track, so you've got to keep watch out for that as we go into turn number 6 now. We're currently 2 temps down in the first sector as we now go through turn 7, getting some beautiful traction out of there onto the back straight, trying to power through with this Ferrari engine. And I can say that my straight line speed is quite low this weekend, so we're going to be down on power in the straights, but we are going to try and make it up in the corners because that's where we've optimized the setup for it as we now go through 8 and 9 I believe, and we're now making our way towards the hairpin and the second sector split. We're going to see where we are at the moment, and we're currently 5 temps down on Fisichella's lap, so a very good lap from Fisichella actually, not being able to beat that lap time as we get a beautiful run through the hairpin, taking the best possible exit. And we're now going to try and power down this back straight here, and this is where we're going to use most of our time probably as we now wait for the long heavy braking zone into the final chicane. So we're trying to hit as much straight line speed as possible, hitting almost 311 k's as we start all down in second gear for the final chicane, getting all over the curbs there, and then making sure you get a perfect exit and keeping it to the right hand side to keep the shortest run to the line. And we're going to get a 1 minute 17 flat bang on, so a 1:17.000, and that gets us P10, 8 temps off of the pace. So not a brilliant qualifying lap, but it's definitely not the worst P10. We can still do some damage from there in the race, so overall not a bad lap. And we're now going to look how the rest of the qualifying results look, and as you can see, it's a 1-2 for Renault, with Montoya the championship leader in third place, with Ralf Schumacher all the way up in fourth place, with both BARs in 5th and 6th, with Jarno Trulli in 7th, both Williams in 8th and 9th, and then Michael Schumacher ran off the top 10 with Barrichello just behind him in P11. So a pretty traditional order. If you look, all the teams are in 2x2, so a very strange order there apart from Kimi Raikkonen, but overall, a really solid qualifying, and it's looking nicely for the race. If fingers crossed, we can get a good start. So, speaking of the race, we're going to jump into it now. Fingers crossed, we can pick up some much needed points after 2 DNFs in a row. So here we are then, it is race day at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, and as you can see, we've got a double Renault front row, so a fantastic result for them in qualifying. But Michael is lining up on P10 on the grid, and can he make the moves that he needs to try and get a good result this race as we get up to the 5 red lights, and we are going to get underway here at Canada. And Michael gets a pretty good start straight off the bat here, turning the engine up to a higher boost mode, and going to try and be aggressive on the start here as he goes around the outside of turn number 1, and it's a question of just keeping his car out of any sort of instance at the moment and just keeping the front wing and the car in one piece as we make our way out of turn number 2. And Michael has already overtaken one of the Williams, and he's now going to try and go up the inside of Nick Heidfeld and Jarno Trulli, but Trulli gives Michael a good old squeeze into the curb there, and now Heidfeld's coming back at him, and it's going to be a question of can Heidfeld hang it around the outside, and yes he does. Michael's forced onto the slippery bit off the track on the inside, and Heidfeld makes the move, but Michael's come straight back at him up the inside off the left hander there, and Michael's having none of that, and it's a fantastic move, and already having a P10, not even at the end of lap 1, so some really good stuff so far. And Schumacher is now on the back of Jarno Trulli going onto the back straight. Can Michael pick him off here? turn up the engine right to the maximum boost mode here. Can he try and go to the inside and possibly pass him for the chicane? He was going to go to the outside, but Trudy was giving him a good old squeeze there and closing the gap, so Marco had to respond quickly and go up the inside, and he does so up the inside of the chicane. And now Sato has had a bit of contact with his teammate Jensen Button, I believe, and that's allowed Marco to get alongside him. And can Shumi pull off the move now onto Kuma Sato at turn number 1. Sato's going to break late, but Marco's going to have the momentum to swing around the outside and make the move there on the Japanese driver. And now Marco is hunting down his teammate Jensen Button in the sister BAR, and can Marco possibly pick off Button for P5 here, which would be fantastic already, and a great start to this race. We're over 3 laps in, so really good stuff so far. And once again Marco cranks up the engine to the maximum boost mode, and here he goes. This is going to make the move on Jensen Button as he pulls to the inside, up the inside of the final chicane. Could it be they're going to be side by side on the brakes? Marco's up the inside, Jensen's on the outside. Jensen gets poor traction on the exit, which allows Schumacher to get past him around the outside, and some fantastic racing between the two of them, keeping it nice and calm and clean, and crucially some nice side by side action there. But now Michael is on the back of his teammate Ralf Schumacher, and can he possibly pass him here? Ralf gets a pretty poor exit here, which allows Michael to get alongside him. Now going into the final, this next chicane, and it goes all shady on you under the bridge there, so the braking point is very hard to pick out, especially when you're up the inside of another car. And Ralf actually beats Michael there on the brakes and into the corner, but Michael's going to come straight back at his brother here, going around the outside, and can he pull it off around the outside of the hairpin here? It would be miraculous if he could, and it doesn't look like it, as Michael's run really wide, but he's actually got a much better run at his brother now on the back straight. He's actually really pulled it nice and wide, swung it out nice and wide, which has allowed him to get much better momentum and straight line speed on the back straight. He's already got past his brother there, so a fantastic move from Michael. Now can Ralf come back at Michael here up the side of the chicane? It doesn't look like it, as Michael's really good on the brakes here, and he does make the move there, and it is P4 for Schumacher, so some really good stuff so far, and he's now on the hunt for the championship leader Montoya for 3rd place, so there could be a possible podium on the cards for Michael, and there's still some 12 laps to go, so fantastic stuff and race pace from this Ferrari so far. And here we go, the Marco is on the back of Montoya. He's going to go to the outside as Montoya leaves him the room, and it's now going to be a drag race into the final chicane once again. Who's going to blink first on the brakes? Montoya looks like he's got the upper hand on the brakes there, but Marco's not going to let it go just yet, as he gets a pretty decent exit out of the final chicane, and he's still got the engine in the full boost mode. So can he possibly make a move here up the inside of turn number 1? He's going to go for it, and yes he does. He pulls it off. A fantastic overtake from Michael Schumacher there for P3, and Montoya doesn't respond, so that is the job done and dusted for Michael, and he's now on the back of Fernando Alonso, and this is the first of 2 Renaults he's going to have to navigate if he wants to win this race. And so far Renault have had a perfect weekend, and it would be a shame if they weren't to win the race, so Michael's going to try and ruin their party as we now go onto the back straight, and Michael's got a fantastic run on the Renault. Fernando Alonso here, he's going to try and have a look up the inside of the final chicane. Alonso though is going to give him a good old squeeze, and he's going to shut the door on Michael and let him know that he is having none of it. And fantastic racing there, and Alonso really just letting Michael know that there was no way through there, and some good clean racing still, as now Michael is on the back of Alonso. Very next lap now onto the back straight, and can this time, will this be the lucky one for Michael Schumacher as he gets a great run now on Alonso? Can he pull to the inside? Yes he does, and he gets much better momentum this time around. The straight line speed is much better, and now it's going to be a question of giving Alonso a good old squeeze, a little bit of a lock up there on the right front, but Michael gets the move done, and Alonso has to settle for P3, and there's only one more car between Michael Schumacher and the race win here at Montreal. And now on lap 14, Michael Schumacher is right on the back of Giancarlo Fisichella, and there's only a couple of laps left in this Grand Prix, so this is going to get really tasty really quick, as now Michael Schumacher makes a move up the inside of Fisichella, and can he get the move done into the chicane? It looks like no, as Fisichella is really good on the brakes there, and actually outclasses Michael on the brakes into the front chicane. Some really good late braking there from the Italian, but Schumacher's going to come straight back at him now up the inside, and now it's going to be a question of can he make the move up the inside of turn number 1 here? Yes he does. Fantastic move, and Michael is into the lead of the race here, so far so good, and after 2 DNFs in a row, this could be the race where Michael finally picks up his big 10 points and some massive points that he needs in the championship to really get the season back on track. But unfortunately the Renaults were not prepared to let this one go easily, as both of them were still hunting Michael down, and the top 3 covered by 1.2 seconds, so fantastic stuff here, as now Fisichella gets a great run on the 7 times world champion, and can he make a move up the east side of the final chicane? It's going to be a question of who can break the latest, and Fizzy is way better on the brakes into that final chicane, and Michael just leaves in the room and makes the move stick there, and it's now a question of can Schumacher re-overtake Fisichella now, as the laps are starting to just wind down now, and the time is running thin. There's only 3 laps left. The move now has to be crucial, and it has to be timed to perfection, and then that has to be the final move of the race if that is the case. So, and as you can see, Michael is now on the back of Fisichella onto the back straight once again this race. And can he make a move now as he's going to go to the outside? Yes, he does. He goes to the outside as Fisichella leaves the gap open, and it's now going to be a question of who's going to blink first into the final chicane. Once again, Michael this time around the outside of Fisichella into the chicane. Really good late braking stuff from Michael. We learned his lesson from last time, and this time he managed to beat Fisichella to the punch on the brakes as we've only got 2 more laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and that would actually turn out to be all of it as going on to the last lap of the race through the chicane for the final time. Michael Schumacher is going to come through for a massive 10 points and finally some World Championship points as Michael wins the Canadian Grand Prix in dramatic fashion, and just a great race win there for the 7 times world champion at Canada, and he wins the Canadian Grand Prix for the 8th time in his career. A fantastic record at this track, and one that he was very proud of, and one race that he really wanted to win, and overall he probably did deserve to win after all. So some really needed points there for Michael Schumacher. And looking at the final race results, you can see that Michael actually beat Fisichella by 1.2 seconds, with Alonso ran off the podium with Montoya in 4th place, then Ralf Schumacher in 5th, Takuma Sato in 6th, Mark Webber in 7th, and Jenson Button running off the point scoring positions there. So a very interesting top 8 with all the point scorers, and Montoya crucially not winning a race for the first time in quite a while, and quite a shocking result with Raikkonen there down in P13, and also Barrichello in 11th. And looking at the driver standings, as you can see, Montoya has actually extended his lead because Harfield scored a big fat 0 in this race, but Michael crucially has gained a lot of points here on those top 2, with Fisichella also breathing down Michael's neck, and then Sato overtaking Button, and Raikkonen with Alonso getting himself into the top 8 for the first time this season. And those are the top 10 in terms of the drivers. And now we're going to move into the constructors, because this is where things get really tasty. Because of these points, Ferrari do really gain some ground on BAR, which is crucial, and Renault have actually overtaken BAR this race as well. So the constructors really starting to get tasty, and Toyota are also breathing down Ferrari's neck. So the constructors is really starting to get interesting, because obviously any big result can really just shift the order. So it's getting really interesting in the constructors and also the drivers. But now it's a question of, can Michael mount some momentum into the next couple of races to try and find some points? But nevertheless, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please do smash the like button down below. Lets me know that you're enjoying these videos, and if you're new around here, please do subscribe to my channel. And yeah, guys, that's about for this video. I've been Thomas HD, and I'll see you in my next one very soon.